Hi, everyone, and welcome to United Goalkeeping Alliance's The Goalkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Art, and today we have a special guest, CEO of Keeper Wars Inc., Casey Clark. Casey, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Art. Appreciate you guys having us on. We're excited to be here and excited to be a part of what you guys are doing. Just a little bit about me. My name is Casey Clark. I grew up in California playing goalkeeper. Loved it, and kind of a backstory to that. I grew up on a cattle ranch. I wanted to ride bulls, and my mom actually said no. That was too crazy. She wasn't going to allow that, so I had to find the next craziest thing to do, something where I could dive around, everything like that, and goalkeeper kind of jumped out at me. So I went with that. I stuck with it. And, I've got to play all through the club levels in California, Northern California, to be specific. And after that, I had the opportunity of going to a tournament called Nomads, and Nomads was a big tournament in San Diego, California. And they had this little event that had something to do with goalkeepers. I didn't know what it was or anything, but it was called Goalie Wars, and you got to go to the tournament. And then if you're in the tournament, you got to be a part of that individual keeper competition. I was super nervous, didn't know what to expect, but absolutely loved it, man. It was something where it was truly like a 1v1 competition, and goalkeepers got to showcase what they could do. And I had the opportunity of winning that event, and it just gave me so much confidence, so much joy for goalkeeper position in general. And I finally got to showcase what I could do. I've never known like where I stood with other keepers in the community and all of those things, man. So I got to go to that one single competition, and it had a huge impact on me. So after that, I got to go play in the collegiate level. During college, I was playing at the semi-pro level of PDL, but now is USL2. So I got to go around the U.S. for that. Once I was done there, I had the opportunity of getting done with college and signing my first professional indoor contract. Indoor was a brand new animal. I didn't know very much about it, but that was my first professional contract. And of course, man, you're going to go play professional if you can. So I did that, and I then actually got to go play professional outdoor with Louisville City FC for a brief stint. So it was pretty exciting on my goalkeeper career side. But once I was done, man, I was still enthralled in the position. I wanted to coach. I wanted to be involved. I wanted to help the next keepers coming up, man. So I got to go into the ODP coaching, so the Olympic Development Program in St. Louis. And so I'm a goalkeeper coach there now currently. And I decided, let's just put on this single event. Let's just put on one Keeper Wars event. It had a huge impact on me. I would love to give it back to the local community. And so me and our co-founder, Tanya Pinkerton, she helped me put this on. And it blew up, man. We put on a Keeper Wars contest where it was a 1v1 tournament for goalkeepers to come out, see what they could do, compete against each other. And from there, we had so many people come to us saying, this is exactly what my keeper needed. This is exactly, what they needed to just like excel in this position and find that joy and passion for it. And we didn't know those things were going to happen. We just knew this was a fun thing to do. And so we reached out to USYS, man. We took the next big step, and that was reaching out to USU Soccer, the largest governing body of sports in the U.S., and we just kind of gave them our vision. We told them, hey, we want to do this. We want to try and give back to a neglected audience because goalkeepers don't really get much attention unless it's for a bad thing, right? I always tell people I've been on the wrong side of ESPN a couple times, and that's never fun, man. So if we can give them a positive environment to kind of showcase what they can do and compete, I think it's huge. And they basically jumped on board. Skip Gilbert being the CEO currently, he was a goalkeeper himself, so he obviously understood what they go through. And so they gave us the resources to kind of take this where we could. And so now as Keeper Wars Inc., we go around the U.S. and we put on 1v1 competitions, and we give keepers a national platform to showcase what they can do and be a part of a goalkeeper community.
And how important was that to you? So we're when we talk about like goalkeeping, the goalkeeper position, the goalkeeper specific position, it is very neglected. I think now we're moving the needle in the right direction.
Right.
However, how important was it to you to be able to provide any type of service or showcase for goalkeepers to excel at? I mean, to come together at and excel and be who they are.
Man, that is a great question. And it was huge for me, Art. This is something to where when I was growing up, I grew up roughly an hour from the nearest town and about 2 hours from the nearest goalkeeper coach. So for me to try and get goalkeeper training, to get resources, to get an understanding of like how I need to be better or how I need to excel, it was almost non-existent until my junior year of high school. Man, I didn't have any goalkeeper training. I would go to practice, and the head coaches would obviously try and help as much as they could, but it usually ended up being going goal. We're going to get you 1,000 shots, and that'll be your goalkeeper training. And so no real guidance on how to get better in your position. Just make the save and get in the way of things. So this was something that is truly passionate for me, because when we started putting on these Keeper Wars events, we started to realize that there was so much neglect for goalkeepers to get the resources that they need to succeed at this position. So let alone keeping them in the position to understand how to excel. People are leaving, right? They're going to another position because they want to enjoy it. They want to have fun, and they didn't know how to do that in this position. And I saw how many other keepers had that same crazy experience of what I think is unbelievable, that they didn't have the resources to try and excel. And so having this platform and having that opportunity to truly help them with training exercises, with pre-event clinics, with working with goalkeeper coaches and, communities like you guys, we're able to truly make an impact. So this hits home for me, man, 100%. And that's kind of the mission statement of us, man. We want to help these goalkeepers out. This is our way of doing it.
Now, how important is it? So like, because here's the thing too, right? The thing is that when we talk about giving giving the goalkeepers, giving our players these tools, how important is that, like, self confidence and self esteem, right? Because when we empower people with like knowledge and tools, and now whether you're 9 or you're 19, and you are learning the position from a different standpoint, from different, from a tactical, physical, technical standpoint, and now you can bring that knowledge to your team, your self confidence just shoots way up. How important is that for the position? Because now, as a goalkeeper, you can also now be confident in what you're saying and how you're performing, versus just kind of just hanging out in the back, hoping you don't make a mistake.
Yeah, hoping that ball doesn't come your way, right? You're worried
Basically.
about it. That's huge, Art. This is something to where for me, it was definitely a struggle for me, and I always go back to kind of personal experiences, because that's everything that I went through. And so having that self confidence, man, I wish I had it when I was younger. I beat myself up. I was terrified to go in that goal sometimes because I didn't have that self confidence or reassurance that I am doing the right things to be prepared. I am putting in the correct work and the training that's going to help me succeed in these games. I never knew that. It's for a long time. And so having that coaching knowledge or that community that you can fall back on to learn from and develop from is huge for obviously the training side and getting the right tools in your toolbox. But having self-confidence is so big, man. And I think it comes from all those things that we're doing. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I'm excited about, is because if a goalkeeper has that self-confidence, they're going to be able to tackle this position a lot different and a lot more positively than if they don't have that self-confidence. If they don't, man, they're not going to try and work on those things that maybe they aren't great at. They're going to try and just stay at the things that they do really good, and not really grow as a keeper. So if we can give them that, man, that's going to be huge for not only them as a goalkeeper, but in life as well. So I hold that super high in my priorities and what we're doing.
Yeah, we think we're not in the business of just developing a player or a goalkeeper. I think we're in the business of developing a human being as well, right?
Yep.
And making sure that they apply some of the things that we learn on the field, off the field, and hopefully they can be as productive as they can be. So, Casey joining us this month as a special guest. Casey, what are you presenting on in February for us?
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I've been talking to Eric continuously about what we can do with this, and this is something that was really cool, and I'm kind of blessed to be a part of it. So thank you guys for having me. So February, I'm going to be touching on the range of a goalkeeper. So how we can expand that range of a goalkeeper in that goal. So the easiest thing to kind of point out, and I think it's kind of known, but that goal behind us goalkeepers is not made for us, right? It's too big. So we got to make sure that we are expanding our range to make sure that we're going to make that thing smaller and there's going to be less goals allowed in our games. And so we're going over individual topics about how we can do that. And so a topic that I'm going to be touching on is the diving side, how we can expand our dives to make sure that we are covering more of that goal when the shot actually is coming in so we can make more saves. And there's something there because I didn't get to learn some of these things until after my collegiate level of playing goalkeeper, that this was kind of addressed to me. And I'm really excited about going into what we could truly do and simple things that you can add to your everyday goalkeeping that's going to help you reach a lot farther in that goal, make more saves.
Why do you think we don't teach diving earlier?
Ooh, yeah, there's probably books on this one, man. This is something to where I think it's almost forgotten a little bit because you have to think the real goalkeeper coaches are few and far between, right? So if you have a real goalkeeper coach, they're going to be at one of the elite clubs. They're going to be at an elite academy, and it's going to be, let's say, maybe the top 10% of goalkeepers that are actually playing the position are going to get that knowledge and get that understanding of what they need to do. The other 90% that are playing recreational, have just jumped onto a local club team, may not have those resources. And it's not that we decide as coaches to, like, I'm not going to teach them how to dive. I'm not going to go into that. But more of the understanding that the goalkeeper coaches are just few and far in between. And we never want to coach on something that we don't feel comfortable with, right? So if you don't know how to teach somebody how to dive, you're probably not going to teach them how to dive. And so with that being said, I think it's more of the resources aren't there for keepers. And I think that's another big reason why I'm excited for you guys and what you're doing, what we're doing with USYS and Goalkeeper Club and Keep Wars in general, because now we're going to be reaching a lot more goalkeepers and helping them get that diving down. Dude, I wish I had this when I was growing up. I know how many times I hear that, but if I would have learned how to dive to protect myself, to make sure I was diving in a manner that was not going to hurt myself, dude, I would have had so many less injuries, so many more saves. I would have been less timid on the big dives and things like that. And it's just all about that knowledge. So it's super cool what we're able to do now.
Yeah, and I think being able to, again, to your point of just addressing it in a way that it's going to reach a bigger audience, it's going to reach coaches, it's going to reach players, and not only are, and then with what you are doing, particularly at Keeper Wars, where you're going to actually have a place to do that, right? And again, we all run into, like, I know for myself, I run into players who are 8, 9. Um, and they're out there and they want to dive and they're energetic. And as they grow up, one of the tendencies that I see is to lose that bravery, right?
Mhm.
Because they start obviously learning and they start growing up and they start figuring that falling hurts, right? And
Right.
diving hurts. So being able to teach those things properly and being able to teach those things in a way that they welcome that save and they welcome that dive is super important. So yeah, fantastic platform that you offer. And now, when we're talking about diving, right? One of the things that has been mentioned before is, the best save is the one you don't have to make, right? So, how often do you want to dive in a game?
Ooh, I love that statement. That can't be said enough. Whenever I was growing up, it was always told by a goalkeeper coach in California, Dave DeHart. Shout out to him. But basically, he was always saying that the best save that you can make as a goalkeeper is the one you don't have to. And it didn't resonate with me for a while. I always thought, at the upper 90 saves, the best save you can make, but everything that comes before that and how you can prepare is so big. So to kind of go back into what you're saying a little bit, um, this is something to where I want to make sure that everybody understands it. It's hard. It's hard for coaches. They get a hard rap because goalkeeper coaches don't get 100 and so many keepers to come to one location to get to work on these things with them. So it's not really their fault. We're just excited that we have this platform, and I'm backtracking a little bit, but to get this platform to showcase when we have our event in Tennessee, we have 160 plus keepers from 11 different states in one location. And that's really awesome because now we can truly make an impact on these goalkeepers and showing them how to dive and showing them what they can do. But yeah, Art, in general, man, I'm almost like too excited to talk about the diving stuff. So man, reel me back in every once in a while if I'm getting off
Okay.
topic, dude.
It's okay. It's all so yeah, because like I'm always trying to poke to see if we can get a little preview or see what we can get a little bit of a
Mhm.
of um of some of that knowledge, right? Before we get the actual presentation. But no, and again, going back to that point of just having that place where these keepers you're if in a platform like yours where you do have those keepers showing up and you have hundreds of them showing up,
Mhm.
how important is it for the younger ones to see the older players,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's some role modeling that gets to happen as well.
Mhm.
Because now at like U9, U10, I'm watching this like U15, U16 player, and I'm watching them walk. I'm watching them how they refuel. I'm watching them how they approach the goal and what they do. How important is that for those younger keepers?
Be a sponge, right? The biggest thing that I learned when I just turned professional, and indoor was not my thing. In California, we don't have real winters, man. So learning that understanding of a new sport or a new position, you got to watch the better people, right? You got to watch the people that are doing it constantly. You got to watch those people that you want to be like, right? And so, um, to your point, the younger kids getting to come to an event like ours and getting to watch a couple fields away from them, the higher level keepers, the older keepers, the keepers that have been playing it for a while, and how they go about their movements, how they strike the ball, how they recover after a goal scored on them, all those things, man, is so cool. I mean, think about it. If you were a young kid and you got to go watch a professional game, one of your first professional games, and you got to watch that position that you want to be and everything that he does, man, I think that has a huge impact. I know it did on me, especially watching them warm up. Man, I was just glued to them. In a game, you're right, they may not get a whole bunch of shots, but during that warm up, I got to be in the bleachers watching a professional keeper warm up, and I was looking at everything they did, how they squirt the water in the mouth, like little things like that, man. I was just glued to
Yeah.
them. And so for these younger keepers to be able to come to this Keeper Wars event and get to see those higher level keepers, how they dive, what their form looks like, you get a true representation of what mastering that position would look like and the next steps that you would have to do to get there. And I think that's hard to quantify, how much of an impact that has, but it's so big, especially for the younger kids, because those kids are just taking in a bunch of knowledge all at once. And for them to have one location where they can do that with other peers like them in a position that they're in love with, I think it's huge.
Now, how do we find your events? Where are you? How do we find you guys?
Yeah, so Keeper Wars Inc., you can go to our website. That is www.keeperwars with an S, Inc with a K.com. Check out our city tour page. We go all over the U.S. We are currently working with 20 state associations, and then we have club hosts as well, and we take this thing all around. So we're going to California in February. We'll be in Arizona in March, different locations. These are all basically city tour events to where there are national qualifying opportunities to go to our national championship events. But in general, check out the website and also just follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I believe we got TikTok going now. So just find us on all those, and then we'll be updating everybody as we kind of make more announcements, and we're bringing in more and more people to help make these things possible. So we got a lot of locations in the future.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us for a little while. And again, right, everybody, we want to make sure that we check out Keeper Wars Inc. Follow them on social media, and I'm sure they'll be updating everything as far as what their events are, where they're headed, and even if you don't necessarily want to participate right away, check it out because once you see it live one time, you're gonna want to be part of it. Like I guarantee it. It's so much fun, and you're gonna have a blast. So, Casey, we are looking forward to your special presentation in February, and we will see you soon.
Art, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. We look forward to being there in February and doing an awesome presentation.
All right, thank you.